All right, let's dive right in. Today, we are talking about something that is on absolutely everyone's mind in education: generative AI. Look, it's not some sci fi concept anymore for our schools. It's here, it's happening right now, and it is a total game changer. But, just having the tools, that's only the first tiny step. So, the tech is in our hands, but that brings up the real question, doesn't it? How long is it actually going to take for this stuff to go from being a cool new toy to being a fundamental part of how we teach and how our kids learn every single day? And the answer? Well, it might actually shock you. If we just look at the history of how schools adopt new technology, everything from laptops to smartboards, we could seriously be looking at decades. Decades! That is a massive gap between what's possible and what's actually happening. And with AI, that's a gap we just can't afford. To really get our heads around this challenge, we need to be clear on what we're talking about. This is not just about plopping some new software into a classroom. We're talking about something called AI diffusion. That means the full, seamless integration of AI into the entire school ecosystem. We're talking about changing daily workflows, deep-seated teaching habits, and even the whole culture of a school. It's the whole shebang. So, if the natural pace of adoption is just painfully slow, why should we push to speed it up? Well, because waiting around isn't a neutral choice. Being proactive and accelerating AI adoption is actually a massive strategic decision, and one with some pretty incredible upsides. And when I say incredible upsides, I mean it. We're talking about creating real equity by being able to personalize learning for every single student in a way we've only dreamed of. We can supercharge efficiency for our teachers, automating all that tedious work so they can spend their time actually mentoring students. This, of course, just lights a fire under innovation because great ideas can finally be shared and scaled almost instantly. And maybe the most important piece of all, it builds student agency, teaching our kids how to use AI as a powerful partner in their thinking for the rest of their lives. Okay, so the why is crystal clear, but the million-dollar question is how. How in the world do you overcome decades of things being done a certain way without just causing total chaos? Well, you need a system. You need an engine that is specifically designed for this kind of acceleration. And that engine has a name. It's called FRUPS. That stands for the Future Ready Unit Planning System. Now, I want to be really clear. This is not just another app or another piece of software. Think of it as a complete framework, a whole new operating system designed to make rapid, but also responsible AI adoption a reality for schools. So let's look under the hood at how FERPS actually makes this happen. It uses modular planning, which lets teachers dip their toes in the water instead of having to dive into the deep end. That lowers the barrier to entry right away. It has voice-guided scaffolds, which helps normalize AI as a helpful tool for all students, not just some. It also shifts the focus to authentic assessment. What can you do with knowledge instead of just what you can memorize? And crucially, it builds in professional development and creates space for community dialogue. See, every single piece is designed to build trust and momentum, making this huge change feel a lot more manageable and, frankly, a lot more exciting. Of course, anytime you talk about moving fast, you have to talk about risk. I mean, pushing for rapid change without a solid plan, that can lead to some really serious problems. A truly smart framework doesn't just put the pedal to the metal, it anticipates the bumps in the road and manages the risks that come with that speed. So how does FRUPS handle those risks? Let's take them one by one. Worried about pedagogical misalignment? Just using tech for tech's sake? FRUPS grounds everything in proven, inquiry-based design. What about creating wider equity gaps? It tackles that head-on by providing all kinds of multimodal scaffolds and different learning pathways. Concerned about the ethical concerns? It actually encourages students and teachers to inquire into the ethics of AI itself. And what about the big one? Teacher burnout. It fights that with clarity, with that modular approach we talked about, and with real tangible support. This isn't about pretending risks don't exist. It's about having a proactive, thoughtful plan for each one. So when you put all of these pieces together, what do you get? You get a clear path forward. You get a framework that is truly designed for what educational leadership needs to be in the age of AI. And here's the bottom line, the thing to really take away from all this. FRUPS isn't just some fancy lesson plan template. It is a strategic leadership framework. It gives leaders the structure they need to accelerate AI adoption responsibly, empowering their teachers and staff to lead with clarity, all while making sure that equity and real innovation stay at the absolute center of everything they do. And that really brings us to the core philosophy here, a powerful idea that should guide any school's approach in this new era. The path forward isn't just faster, it's smarter. And that leaves us with one final and pretty important question. As you look at your own school, your own district, and you see this incredible wave of change coming, you have to ask yourself, is your leadership future ready? Thanks so much for watching.